Good morning, it's Graham from Unearthed for the next, or I'm here for the next episode of Detecting Talk. What are we on now? 6, 7, 8? Who knows? I've lost count. But I think today's Detecting Talk will probably be of interest to more people out there than some of the previous ones. I think I aim a lot of these Detecting Talk sessions for the guys that are coming into the hobby, which is only right that they get the proper advice that they deserve. However, this topic, or parts of this topic today, will be of interest to some of you serious and seasoned detectorists that are out there. So, first off, there's a list of bits and pieces in front of me here that I'm going to have to slowly go through. We're not going to cram it all in today, but we'll start off with or a continuation of the theme from previous Detecting Talk episodes, where we're going to be talking about you've got your permission, you're out on the field detecting, you're doing everything by the book, you're doing everything correctly, you've gone to see the landowner again just to make sure you're alright to go on A, B, C, D, E, F field. Everything's fine. However, what we do find in detecting, especially with the new guys coming into the hobby, they get on some pretty productive land, which is what you want. We're all chasing around for productive land. Once you get on that land and you start finding bits and pieces, it's absolutely imperative that you guys keep hold of your stuff. Do not dismiss anything that you find out of the ground. So you could be digging up bits of twisted metal, obscure shaped artifacts, things that you may think that looks like a coin but isn't, and you may have a tendency to throw it in the scrap bucket. So how many of you guys out there over the years have looked in your scrap bucket 18 months later and found, wow, look at that, that's actually part of a Saxon strap end, or believe it or not, that little round disc underneath all that crud is a denarius. So the advice I'm giving you is do not throw anything away. Throw stuff away at your peril. I've done it. I had a Saxon artifact. I can't exactly remember what it was now. It's going back a long time. And it was rolling around in my scrap box for the best part of 12 months until I realised what it was. I came across it in a reference book once and I dug it out and it ended up back in my collection. So do not dismiss anything. Always get advice on the things that you're finding. If it looks like a twisted piece of metal coming out the ground, or very crude looking, or you think it's misshapen for a reason, by all means post it up on some of the Facebook groups out there. Our Unearthed one is very good for identification for people. That's the sort of thing, what I'm trying to say is don't dismiss the finds that you're bringing up out of the ground. Too many people do it. Too many people are doing it. They're throwing it away. I shudder to think what's been thrown away over the years because people think it's scrap. So, first bit of advice is do not dismiss your finds. Always get an expert, or maybe expert's the wrong word, a seasoned detectorist out there that knows his stuff about artifacts and coins. Always get their advice on what it is. If you're a member of a club, at the end of the dig, always take it up to the rally organisers. These guys will know what they are. It's certainly worth doing your homework on. If you see me glancing up to the top of the screen, it's because there's people trying to ring me as I'm doing this. It's always the same person probably won't ring back now for the next 24 hours. So I've just got I had a little bit of distraction there going on. So that's the first part of today's advice. The second part is, and this seems to be pretty much out there and has been around a long time, this problem. I'm going to class it as a problem because it is a problem. From time to time we see people on digs, rallies, private permission, wherever it may be, not filling the holes in correctly. Now, last year we had an organised dig. I don't do many of them, 3 or 4 a year for Unearthed. I put them on for our customers to say thank you to them and friends. We handpick the people, so they're all nice people that we know. But we did have one dig last year where I was spending most of my time walking around filling a dozen holes back in that had been just left strewn across the top of the grass. Now, my advice is this: if you're going to be on people's permissions and farmers who just let you on for the first time, it's absolutely imperative that you fill that hole back in as neatly as you found it. So you're going to make it look like you've made a proper job of filling that hole back in. There's nothing worse than landowners going back on the field after used people have been on detecting to see holes that haven't been filled in properly. And of course, if there's cattle on there and it's pasture and you haven't filled it in right, the cattle will come along and they'll lift them sods back up and turn them over. So stamp it down, make sure it's, just spend a little bit of time. I know we're all in a rush to get out there and dig the hole on, dig the next hole and move on. Just spend a little bit of time patting that plug back down in the ground and make sure it's neat, because there's nothing worse. We see it all the time on rallies. You see on social media people posting it up in disgust where they've had to go around and fill other people's holes in. And of course the other one is people have filled the hole in 50-50. They've made an attempt at doing it, but they've also left a big horseshoe or a big lump of iron on the top because they can't be bothered carrying that around. The best thing to do is, if you're in a situation like that, is put the hole down, stamp it down 5 or 6 times or more. If you've got a horseshoe or a bit of iron, keep hold of it and put it in the scrap bucket that the rally organisers left or put out for you guys to do that. If not, if you're on your own private permission, just take it back to your car, carry it around with you for a bit, take it back to the car, put it in the boot if you're near enough, or put it somewhere where you can collect it at the end of the day and take it home with you and discard of it. That's the best way. There's nothing worse than these landowners coming on, the farmers, they give you their trust to let you on their land in the first place, only to find that you're leaving little bits of scrap and junk all over their fields. Now, we had a situation earlier this year, and some of you guys out there will see a Facebook video I put on live actually, whereas we've been on a particular farm in Lincolnshire for a number of years, and another couple of detectives moved in on that patch. The farmer owns the land, we don't own the land. They don't know us, we know them. A couple of a man and woman celebrity couple who are active on social media. They jumped on this field that we were detecting on the Saturday. They must have been on it on the 2 or 3 days earlier through the week. These people obviously are not at work, so they've got the privilege of going through the week to detect. But what struck me when we went on, we didn't know they'd been on. The farmer actually doesn't want them to go on, but they still had the audacity to go on and detect for half a day at least. The sheer mess. Okay, the field was ploughed, it wasn't seeded, it was relatively flat, but they made no attempt to fill their holes in. And what was even worse was the huge lengths of iron. There was a steel bar 2 or 3 foot long, just dumped on the top that one of them have dug out. Footprints all over the place. It was an absolute mess. Problem we were on that field. Now the farmer would probably have thought it was us. So I had to go around and my detecting mate put our detectors down, and we had to go around filling all them holes in. 3/4 of an hour later, we made the field look like it was presentable. So it's not the new guys necessarily coming into the hobby. These 2 individuals I'm talking about have been in the hobby for some time. So it's pure and utter disregard for the land and laziness, in my opinion. If I ever catch them face to face, I'll be having serious words with these 2 people. They'll deny it, but the farmer told us it was them that was on there 2 or 3 days previous. Because we had to go back to the farm to tell the landowner it was such a mess, and we've cleaned it up. So these are the problems that you sometimes come across in the wonderful world of detecting. So let's have a bit of a recap. Your fines, don't dismiss anything. Make sure you get identification on the stuff that you've got in your fines pouch, and before you put it in your scrap box and discard of it. Always make sure you know what it is, and also filling holes in. It is the most imperative thing you can do out there. You've got to start making, you guys coming into the hobby and others, making sure you're leaving a neat job. Well, I always say leave the farm as you found it. You're not always going to make 100%. There'll be a bit of mud around the hole, but that'll soon wash away. Just stamp the holes down. Make it neat. Simple thing to do. That aside, another burning not a burning question, it's a burning topic, I guess. If you guys looked previously on some of these YouTube videos that I've been doing, I mentioned about the dreaded, horrendous green waste. In fact, I've still got the bag of green waste here that I collected off the farm a few weeks ago. More and more frustrations out there, guys. There's more and more people reporting on social media that they're coming across fields full of green waste. What I've done since the last video is this, and I'm not alone. I'm not going to take any credit for something that I haven't done. So this isn't just Unearthed that's taking this forward. There's a small group of individuals behind me in different walks of life also taking the problem extremely seriously about green waste, and they're doing their bit. You know, one guy's talking to the NCMD, national and regional, about it, bringing it to the forefront, making people aware of how horrendous this situation is about spreading of illegal metals, metallic waste on cropland and pasture fields, etc., etc. The countryside is becoming a dumping ground. There's no two ways about it. Before long, there's going to be vast areas of land undetectable. That's how serious it is. But in my opinion, there's not enough people out there, detectorist wise, that are taking the situation as seriously as they should. So what I'm going to say on this video is this: all you guys that watch this, do your little bit, do your bit. And how you can do your bit is this: I've just set up a petition, a government petition this week, asking for people the MPs, Parliament, to stop the spreading of metallic and green waste on farmers' crops, pasture and fields. Now, it's going to be a monumental task to get this to go to Parliament. Now, it's been approved at the moment. We don't know if it's going to go through. That's how stringent this situation is. The process of actually getting there in the first place is hard enough. I've got signatures already. I've sent it out to them. They're going to look at it to approve it. I should get notification in the next 3 or 4 days if it's gone through. If it doesn't go through for whatever reason, I'll just keep trying. I won't give up, because this is that serious a threat to detecting as a hobby, but also turning that around for the environmental side. It's as big as, or it could be as big as, plastics in our ocean. That's how serious I'm taking it. There is hundreds and hundreds of tons of this metallic waste being spread on farmers' fields. We've covered it before: aluminium, needles, batteries. What else are we finding? Hinges of furniture. You name it, plug sockets with the plastic wires still hanging out of them. There's been MDF, there's been toxic chemicals found mixed in with it. It's absolutely horrendous how they get. The reason why it's not become mainstream and to the forefront of people's minds is because you can't see it. It's hidden. It's only us detectorists that are going around with our detectors picking it up. So it's the great unseen pollution on the fields. So I've set this petition up. So when it becomes live, fingers crossed, I want everybody possible to sign the petition. It's easy enough to do. We need 10,000 signatures. Now, it sounds a hell of a lot, but that's only the start. The 10,000 signatures is for us to get a response back off Parliament in the first place. It has to go to 100,000 signatures before it gets brought up as a topic in the House of Commons. That's how big. I think we can do it. I honestly think you guys out there will be thinking, well, there's not 100,000 detectorists, but you've got to think of the bigger picture. This isn't just detected related problem. It's an environmental problem. So I've contacted the Friends of the Earth. Decent response, probably the best response out of all the rest of the organisations. The Green Party never got back to me. Wouldn't you think it would be on the Green Party's agenda? Never got back to me. Environment Agency have stopped answering my questions to them. Just keep putting me on hold, or we'll get back to you. So on social media, if you look on Facebook, there's an Environment Agency Facebook page. I've been messaging them on there. They're reading the messages, not answering me. That may tell you something. I don't know. What's up with these guys? Why are they not answering my questions? Friends of the Earth, Green Party, Environment Agency. I've even messaged Greenpeace. I don't even know if it's on Greenpeace's radar this sort of thing, but they're doing things around plastic in the ocean, so they should be doing it around metallic waste in the field. Surely it should be of interest to them. So I'm active. I'm getting out there. I'm passionate about this. I think it's an absolute disgrace. When I said earlier hundreds of tons of this, I think it's more. I think it's thousands of tons of it. Now you think about all these tiny little pieces of scrap, it all adds up. Like I said, there's batteries in there, there's all sorts of hinges, and it's just horrendous. The aluminium alone is tons, there's absolutely tons of it. It's not being screened properly, it's ending up in the farmers' fields, it's ending up in the crops, it's ending up in the food chain, and it'll end up in us. Simple as that. So I ain't going to give this up, and I'll give you guys an update when this becomes live. I'll guide you towards a link for it. And let's hope we can get some good signatures. I've had a lot of messages, positive messages about it of people. They're aware of it because I had to put it out there first to get the signatures for it to be then to go to approval, if that makes sense. So there's a stage of processes. The frustrating bit is I couldn't put everything in that I wanted to. They only allowed me so many words in each category. So I'm there typing away with all these, all these horrendous things we're finding in the ground, but it wouldn't allow me to go the whole hog. So we had to scale it down quite a bit. But that took me an hour and a half of yesterday morning to do that, to get it right. So it's time, it's time, but it's time that's well worth spending. Now, I was also sent this yesterday, and I'm going to pick this up, and I hope you guys can see that. This actually went, believe it or not, the green waste subject was actually brought up in Parliament on December the 12th, 2012 by... So this has already been brought up in Parliament. 8 o'clock at night on the 12th of December. How many MPs would have been in that chamber on the 12th of December? Getting towards Christmas, 8 o'clock at night, there wouldn't have been many of them, would there? They'd have come in, they'd have took their expenses. I can't be bothered listening to that, it's not on my agenda. But this one MP, Sir Bob Russell from Colchester, where are we at? LD, Liberal Democrat. I don't care what party he's from, as long as they're doing the job. And this guy has done his job. A detectorist in the Colchester area had gone to him and told him about green waste. And he was passionate enough about it to bring it up in the House of Commons. House of Commons, Parliament. So if I've got that wrong, pull me up on it. Now, I'm not going to read this document out because it's vast, but what he's saying is the sterling work that metal detectorists are doing out there, day in, day out. They're working with the Archies to uncover all these wonderful finds that we're making, only to come across this horrendous green waste, metallic waste issue. And he went in great length to talk about what's been found in farmers' fields. And he's absolutely, I was reading one, the consequences of the contamination of green waste is that serious environmental and a pollution problem. It literally cannot be covered up any longer. Not everyone in the green waste industry is up to the job, whether we are talking about deliberate deceit or failure to comply with strict regulations. The Minister's briefing, I will trust, includes an account of people being prosecuted for spreading pollutants and contaminated materials along with so-called green waste. Now, in this document, and if anybody wants a copy of it, drop me a message on YouTube, on the thread, and I will guide you to it. But a person or a firm, a business in here was from Derby, Derby Magistrate, was actually fined £75,000 and £13,500 worth of costs for putting green waste in compost and selling it to the farmers, or approaching the farmers. In the waste was plastics, paper, metals including kitchen knives, bottle tops, cigarette lighters and batteries. This guy got prosecuted for doing it, and it ended up on the farmers' fields. They found out about it and he got a hefty fine, not too short of 100 grand. So there's things happening, but isn't it a disgrace that this was brought up in 2012, yet it's still going on? So now we take it to the next stage. Us as detectorists have got the power, I think, and a lot of us have got the know-how to bring this to the forefront. So the copy is, I've got it by email. I was sent it by a gentleman called William Hargreaves, who was the NCMD Regional Northwest guy. He's really passionate about stopping green waste, along with Mark Lightfoot and others. So this isn't an Unearthed thing that I'm doing off my own back, even though I'm fighting like, tooth and nail to get it stopped. There's other guys out there on the ground doing equally as a good job, if not better than me. Even back in 2012, we spoke about it, where this gentleman from a Mr. Stuart Elton attended my advice bureau. Metal detecting is his hobby. What he told me appalled me. Nowadays, when he and fellow metal detecting enthusiasts with permission of the landowner go out looking for buried treasure from the past, they are more likely to find a wide variety of metal, cut, crushed and mashed, along with the rotting green waste. That is not so much a needle in a haystack, but rather the contents of a scrapyard strewn across the fields. This guy doesn't half give him it. So hats off to Sir Bob Russell, Colchester, Liberal Democrat. I'm going to drop him a message. I'm going to drop him an email. In fact, I'll probably ring his office if I can this week. So watch this space. The petition will be out there for people to sign. I want you guys to sign it if you possibly can. The more people we get your friends and family to sign it. If you talk about them, they may not be interested in metal detecting and what we're unearthing in the fields metallic waste wise, but they'll be interested on the environmental side of things. If it's getting into the food chain, which it must be by now, there's that much of it out there. So I'll put the link up, and if anybody wants a copy of this document, I think it's volume 555, 12th of December 2012, green waste contamination, as you can see. I hope that helps, guys. So watch this space. Okay, I will do another detecting talk session next week. If you guys are out this weekend or through the week, good luck and continue to do the great work that you do. Thanks for watching.